Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 3 of Luciodology vs. ProBUs. Spawning in on the left side, we have Galactos as Lucio, Takalu as Lunara, Lemony Fresh as Orphea. I should have learned that name in between games. Eugenaz as Dahaka, and Hentron playing the Muradin. On the right-hand side, we have Dragon 478 on Johanna, Secret Asian Man on Dreadlord Jaina, Aruba on Phoenix, Milkstar as Stukov, and the surprise pick of the evening, Chaos Tank, is playing the Murky. I like Murky. I'm not gonna lie. I think this is probably the better map for him compared to most of them. There's a lot of value, a lot of long protracted team fights that allow Murky to get a lot of value split pushing, but it does mean that their team fighting is going to be a little on the weak side. We see both teams are actually immediately splitting off and deciding that they don't want any part of that obligatory fight in the middle lane. Well, I think that benefits Luciodology just a little bit more, because Secret Asian Man, he wants to get those damage stacks as early as he can. And both teams you see doing a 1-3-1, which I like for this map. A little bit of damage coming out of the Hentron, but he'll get out of there just fine. He's got that dwarf toss. It can be kind of hard to do 4-1 rotations on a map this big, so both teams just opting to go and do that nice safe 1-3-1. Both teams actually have their damage dealers in the bottom lane and their more normal offlaner in the top lane, and not that Murky is a particularly common one, but we see he's got the Egg Hunt on level 1. That's an interesting pick, and I see a lot of Murkies tend to go for the Bribe talent, but we see Falstead picking that up instead. We see Jaina looking like she's going to go take this camp with some help from Stukov. And let's see if Luciodology can scout that out. They haven't done a whole lot of invades, and this is kind of a hard map to invade on. So it looks like they're just going to try and rotate down, see if they can get some damage down here onto Falstead. Aruba actually already had to tap. He gets hammered, and he gets attacked once, twice, but he's able to get out of there. And lucky for him, the objective is spawning in the bottom lane, so when he flies back in, he'll already be here. Which is unfortunate, because, oh, a little drag coming onto Murky, but he's going to walk out of there just fine, probably. Yeah, he'll be fine. So you see, it's actually going to favor Luciodology, because Dahaka still has his global up, so he can get down in there. Not too much happening for either team. Falstead's back in the bottom lane. I don't know what happened with Lunara. She just kind of walked over to this camp and... Okay, Lemony Fresh is going to come over and help her try to take it. This is going to be a little tougher just the 2 damage dealers, though. So we do see Muradin coming in instead. And we got the pings coming out on the side of ProBUs so they can get their camp as well. Chaos Tank getting chunked pretty hard again. Actually going to tap. That's a little unfortunate timing, because it means it's not going to be up for during the objective. And there the objective starts coming up now. I really want to see how long Dahaka is going to stay here before deciding to rotate down. And also, I'm still surprised at that Egg Hunt pick. The decoy egg's not doing a whole lot for Murky right now. We see Luciodology is definitely the first team to get set up. Only has the Falstead down here over for ProBUs, so definitely the early setup advantage going over in favor of Luciodology. Both healers actually squaring off in the middle lane with their bruiser camps, and neither team is really looking to get on this and get a quick cap on it, especially because we have both the tank and the Murky still in the top lane, so it's an even fight down here. Hentron going in on the Stukov. Stukov getting brought down pretty low, but he gets a really big weighted pustule. Takalu gets brought pretty low. Hentron kind of split off from his team over there. He's not getting any healing from Galactos, but he's able to dwarf toss out just fine. Both teams still level 6, not a significant amount of XP for either team. And I don't actually think that Murky's going to rotate down, so it can be a significant advantage for Luciodology if they decide to send Dahaka down here, but at the same time, keeping him up there means that they can match out in XP. Neither team has a significant advantage in this fight. Hentron going in takes a lot of damage, but is able to back up just fine. Yep, he's still fine. You can see the health bars are starting to favor ProBUs as this fight goes on, so it looks like the numbers of the blue team are going to go down. Tap up if they got it, and try to re-engage. Level 7s are now in for ProBUs, which is going to give them a pretty decent advantage, but Hentron's able to jump in onto Milkstar, get a lot of damage out onto him, Blacktoe starts to do the channel, but I don't think Jaina's going to let it happen. Not at all. Health bars once again low for the blue team and a little bit higher for the red team. Milkstar gets hit really hard by that Orphea E. But he is the only one, whereas the damage is a lot more spread out. However, Dahaka does decide to burrow down, and now we have level 7s out for both teams. You can see that Milkstar went back to tap. That means Johanna doesn't have any backup for the support. Stukov gets the interrupt on Takalu, and now that there's 5 members down here, you can really see the team fight starting to favor Luciodology. See if they can get the interrupt. They can get the interrupt with that Johanna flashlight, and is able to get out just fine. And it really seems like ProBUs is doing a good job in the fight that they're taking, but they should probably stop taking this fight at this point. If they try to re-engage one more time, it's probably going to start going very badly for them. Gets the interrupt with the flashlight yet again. Milkstar doing what he can to keep all of his teammates alive. Takalu getting brought really low, but just not quite. Oh, never mind. He is the first one to go down with the immediate counter kill out onto Stukov. Gonna pop back up into the top lane for just a second. You can see that wall has already been brought down by the Murky, who's been left totally unattended this whole time. Still trying to take this 3v4 is ProBUs, and I gotta hand it to them. They've been holding off this point from being captured a lot longer than I would have expected, but if they let any one more hero go down, I think it's gonna stop favoring them. You can see Murky's all the way onto the fort. He's actually already got the top well, so the next objective that spawns in the top lane is going to have a significant advantage over for Team ProBUs. And we can see that the split pushing Murky has already given them almost a full level lead in XP, and they still have not yet captured this objective. I'd really like to see Dahaka try to come in for a flank, get someone from the back line, but instead he's actually just going to go and soak the mid lane. Stormbolt comes out onto Milkstar, but no follow-up at all. Secret Asian Man gets hit, but he's already pre-tapped, so it doesn't actually do any significant amounts of damage. Lunara's coming in onto Murky. I think it's a matchup that favors Lunara pretty heavily. Does not have the vision. She actually has the Wisp vision, which the Murky's going to play a lot more into these bushes. Murden gets brought down pretty low, but he's Murden. He's just going to hop away and get back up again. Lemony Fresh taking a bunch of damage. There's the Dahaka engage, but it's a little late. He comes in all by himself, gets chunked pretty hard, and just has to walk out. And we now have Heroics coming in for Team ProBUs, so the Murky split push really did a lot more value than I would have expected, and they're actually going to get this objective, despite having been down a full person for quite a long time. Some damage coming out onto Lemony Fresh, but looks like both teams are just going to try and disengage, which gives us a little bit of time to talk about Heroics. We've got the Blessed Shield, the Hinterland Blast, formerly Shock and Awe, the Water Elemental, which is a bit of an interesting choice considering Murky went Octograb, and Stukov with the Flailing Swipe. That's kind of my problem with Stukov. He never has an ultimate that really helps the rest of his team out other than just getting an enemy hero away.
I grow tired.
Lunara clearing out the top lane, and we now have our level 10s coming in for the side of Luciodology. We have the Beat Drop from Lucio, the Eternal Feast from Orphea, which I'm never a fan of, but let's see if they can make it work. Isolation from Dahaka, the Avatar from Muradin, and Thornwhip Vine coming out from Lunara. All in all, I still gotta say, I like the teamfight potential on the side of Luciodology just a little bit more, actually chunking Johanna quite a bit. Has to use the Blessed Shield to get out of there because I think the D Shield was already down. And that's going to give early channel position over to Luciodology, but they are still split quite badly. We don't actually have their Lucio in the fight yet. We didn't actually have the Pulse Strike either. Dragon gets brought down and taken out. Lemony Fresh is taken out in response. There goes the Beat Drop, but just a second too late. Secret Asian Man, however, he's going to go down next. Water Elemental cannot keep him alive like that. Trying to get some damage in onto Aruba, but he's actually the one putting out a lot more damage until Takalu comes in, kind of even up that DPS. Down to the bottom lane, we see this mercenary camp that got picked up has done a lot of work over for ProBUs. Although Dahaka is pretty good at clearing out Murky waves because he can attack the pufferfish and get those E's out at the same time. Gets the drag out onto Chaos Tank, but it's not actually going to do anything considering there were still minions there. Hentron coming in for the single person invade realizes he doesn't have a team behind him, so he's just going to have to dwarf toss back out. We can see Chaos Tank just continuing to try and get this split push value, but ooh, Dahaka actually eats a full pufferfish. He really needed to use his E there to make sure that that pufferfish didn't go off. Lemony Fresh coming in for the gank attempt, but nothing really happens from that. And even if they had what values there really, actually a lot of value would have been gained because the egg is still in the top lane. Lemony Fresh comes in for the interrupt, Milkstar with the disengage flailing swipe. And for the first time we see ProBUs actually has the significantly better positioning. There goes the Eternal Feast, hits nobody. Hinterland Blast comes out, hits 2. That's 30 seconds of cooldown reduction. And everyone jumps down onto Orphea, and she goes down. Beat drop forced on the just the murky damage, actually. Dahaka goes down to Secret Asian Man. Hentron, he's going to have to get out of there. Although his avatar is ending soon. I don't know if he's going to be able to. Murky goes down, but that's only a quarter of a hero kill, and it actually, I think that Murky dying there actually favors Murky, because it puts him all the way up in the top lane where there is no one to undo his split push shenanigans. Aruba gonna hearth, and I don't think he actually needs to fly, but if he does, he'll probably go to the bottom lane and see if they can secure this fort. However, I think they can secure it without him, considering only Galactos is here for the defense. Orphea is in the middle lane trying to stop this camp from pushing, which she will be successful in. Hentron comes in, sees there's not a fort here any longer. I have to not engage into this. Makes the right call. Taka up trying to figure Murky, takes another pufferfish straight to the face. Those pufferfish, you know, they can be taken down, but if you don't take them down, they can do some pretty significant damage. Lucio coming in, just kind of scattering around, make sure the other team's not on their boss. Murky is in there behind enemy lines, but he'll probably be able to get out of there. Dahaka has a hard time chasing. We've got the fourth objective coming up. This is Curse Point for side of ProBUs, where it is just a necessary defense over for Luciodology, who opts to take this camp. I like the timing for the most part. I would have liked to see them do it maybe 10 seconds earlier. Dahaka, he's taking a very aggressive path to get to his fort. He's going to get some significant damage for that. Secret Asian Man popping the ice block, which I have to feel was a mistake. But doesn't matter, they get the kill out anyway, and this is going to put them in a prime position to get their curse. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Jaina trying to pop Icy Veins, but just not having moved their talents around on the action bar. First curse going out onto the side of ProBUs, and they're going to use that to immediately take this top fort. I would like to see them push to the keep a little bit. They could at least get this keep wall, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get mid fort, considering how many people are already there for the defense, and they are going to go for that top damage. Murky's going to split push because that is what Murky do. There goes the Eternal Feast, once again hitting no one. That's the second time that ult has gotten literally 0 value. Weighted Pustule comes out to get Orphea, but I think she's going to be able to back out. The Hinterland's Blast comes out, doesn't hit. And here comes the counter engage from the side of Luciodology. Lots of damage coming out onto Milkstar, but Galactos takes even more. And Aruba gets the kill before the beat drop comes in. And now Hentron's going to have to back away. He's got more health than either person, but I don't think he can take this 2v1, but he sure thinks otherwise. Dwarf tosses onto Aruba and takes him out, but that's still going to be a 1 for 2. Avatar comes out, but it is not enough to keep Mergen alive, and the rest of his team members say, sorry, but I'm not going down with you. Split push Murky actually did manage to get that fort, and with all 3 lanes pushed in really far, Team ProBUs decides that this is the time that they want to take this boss camp, which, good timing. They can see that the members of Luciodology are not going to be in a position to defend, so might as well get it while you have it available. It'll force Luciodology to either defend the top keep, which this should take by itself, or, oh, little damage coming out to Milkstar there, a little unnecessary, that's alright. So they'll either have to defend the boss pushing the top lane, or probably they're going to rotate down and try to force Luciodology's boss, which will put them in a very strong position. Camp's picked up over on the side of Luciodology as well. Luciodology, now recognizing that the boss was taken, says we need to mount the defense. While Chaos Tank is pushing in the top lane, they can see that there's 2 members there. And the Murden's now there, so they're in no position to defend their own boss, and it's just a Murky, guys. Yeah, he can do a lot of siege damage, but you know it can also do a lot of siege damage to another boss. Actually, you know what? I really like this call from the side of ProBUs, deciding why take a boss when we can take 2 heroes and a boss. There's the Water Elemental trying to chase down Galactos, but Water Elemental is no match for the power of Reddit Lucio, so he's going to get out of there. Water Elemental guarding this bush. There we go. He gets in and do some damage onto this boss, but really good call. I like the call coming out from ProBUs to take those 2 hero kills before taking the boss. Top boss is just going to get the front wall, whatever was left there, and the well, but this sets up a couple of things. ProBUs can either use this for the world's freest objective, which they should take, but it shouldn't be the only thing that they take. I think they're heading over to probably take this camp over here, this Bruiser camp, but I would like to see maybe 4 members push with boss, and only keep Murky here to get the objective. As it is, this gives a lot of time for Luciodology to get some free damage out of this boss. It might still take this keep. It'll be close, but I think that ProBUs could have guaranteed that keep and gotten the objective, so we'll see if this keep does end up going down. We see that the members of ProBUs is here trying to force this mid keep, but it still has an entire front wall here, and Takalu's doing a lot of damage with that poison. Chaos Tank is here to make sure that that keep goes down. A little unnecessary, it goes down anyway, and he's going to be able to get out. And even if he doesn't, it's just a Murky. Front wall goes down on the mid keep, and there's just a lot of tempo advantage out on the side of ProBUs at this point. They're now taking camps on their opponent's side of the map. It's a little bit risky considering Murky is still all the way in the top lane. So this is the time that Luciodology decides that they need to fight. There comes the Avatar to protect Hentron. Wow, that is a ridiculous Hinterland's Blast. A second really big Hinterland's Blast comes out. But it's actually Jaina that falls first. That is why you don't take a 4v5 fight. Even if you get some really gigantic ultimates, you can still lose just because of that extra body. Hentron comes in trying to zone out the members of Luciodology. We've got the level 20s coming in now for ProBUs. We'll look at those in just a sec after this fight's done. Lemony Fresh trying to get away and should be able to do so. Another 3-person Hinterland's Blast. They're just getting so much value out from Aruba. We now have Chaos Tank trying to fight Dahaka in the top lane, and I don't think Dahaka's going to be able to defend all this. Coming out for the level 20s, we see the Indestructible. We've got the upgrade for Hinterland's Blast, the Chilling Blink, the Single Flailing Swipe, and making Inky. That's the shorter cooldown of Slime. We see Monkey going pretty much full Slime this game, so that's going to make his Slime build significantly more impactful at this point. I was incorrect. Dahaka does manage to save that top keep, and it puts them in a position to take now the siege camp. Muradin's way out in front all by himself. He dwarf tosses away, but he's already slowed from that weighted pustule, but ProBUs decides not to take it. They don't know where the rest of Luciodology is, so that's a little bit of an aggressive fight to try and take for them.
Gather tribute. Earn my favor.
Luciodology just looking to get that level 20. This is still not a curse for ProBUs, so they don't need to take this fight. And honestly, they don't want to. Down 20, you do not want to take a fight unless you have a very significant advantage, such as the Murky died and is now in the top lane. Speaking of Murky in the top lane, once again, he is there in the top lane doing the best deep pushing that he can. And we can see that Luciodology agrees. They're just going to sit in the mid lane, kill these minions, get level 20, and give this over to ProBUs, because it doesn't really actually net them anything. Other than that, it puts them in a place to get the next curse on the next objective, but that's going to be a really, really important fight for both teams, because that'll be curse at almost 20 minutes in the game. Chaos Tank once again in the top lane trying to take down this top keep all by himself. Dahaka is back to try and mount that defense, but he's pretty good at defending, but I don't know if he'll actually be able to get Chaos Tank, though. He goes in really far, takes a couple of tower shots. Galactos is in there to make sure that he cannot get away. But this does draw all the members of Luciodology away from the objective. There comes the speed boost to do some more damage out onto Chaos Tank, but this means that ProBUs is now in a really strong defensive position. Look at this tiny corridor that they're going to have to try and go through to try and mount the defense here, and this right here in the middle, this is where Jaina always wants to be fighting. She wants to be standing right where she is and put blizzards right in this crossroads. And if that happens, there's going to be a lot of damage going on Luciodology. We've got Murden coming in, trying to 1v4 and take down that Jaina. There goes the beat drop, and actually Milkstar is the first one to go down. Murden getting right in their face and throwing Stormbolt after Stormbolt. Dragon gets chunked out really hard. Hendron gets chunked out really hard, but he gets the Stormbolt and he gets the damage out on the Secret Asian Man, and that is a 2-for-0, almost a 3-for-0 as Dragon, he gets hit by the Lunara poison, and there goes the Indestructible to pop him off, but he still only has about 100 hit points when all is said and done. 600, I guess, but Jane's got a big health pool. However, even though red team is the team with the curse, we can see all of the lanes are pushed out in the favor of the blue team. Only Aruba and Murky are here to actually mount this defense. We see Lunara's going back because these Merc camps, they actually don't get cleared out immediately the way that the rest of the lanes do. Decide's better of it, however. Deciding that they actually need the damage out so they can try and get at least this keep. A little bit funny considering that you still have a fort here. This is all... For those that don't know, if you take a keep and still have a fort in that lane, it does exactly the same as if you had taken a fort. 1 catapult every 3 waves. Just massive Hinterland's Blast after Hinterland's Blast coming out of Aruba. Definitely MVP with that ult pick. They do get the keep and a kill it onto Murky, but a kill onto Murky doesn't really mean anything. So, despite getting some damage done and taking that objective, I still think that ProBUs is really in a position to win, considering it's 1 building down on the side of ProBUs and 5 buildings down on the side of Luciodology. Luciodology deciding that they maybe want to fight over this boss, decide better of it, decide that they're just going to take the safe defensive position. Secret Asian Man, he's not going to see quite in time, but Luciodology does see that ProBUs is going out into this boss. They need to defend this. It would be going boss onto a naked core, which I don't know if they can actually hold that defense, but Luciodology has made the call. We would rather take a fight with 5 people under a boss than to take a fight down 2 members to defend a boss, which, saying that whole thing out loud like that, I actually agree with it. It's probably better to take a 5v5 under a boss than it would be to try and take a 3v5 under a neutral boss, but it's still going to be rough. Luciodology here, they can take this fight, but they need to get a quick pick so that ProBUs can't actually go in on this. Murky actually going in really far before anyone else. Hentron doing very similar. He gets popped the Avatar, but he gets popped himself. That's going to make this defense much harder for the side of Luciodology. The objective is going to be spawning in just a few moments, but Chaos Tank, he gets the Octograb, and the immediate blow-up. Aruba definitely MVP with these Hinterland's Blast, and this 3v5, I thought it's going to be a nearly impossible defense. There comes the Eternal Feast once again, hitting no members out on the side of ProBUs. I just have to feel that some more value could have been obtained from crushing Jaws, but hindsight is 20/20. As the core falls, this is going to be the 2-1 going out in the favor of ProBUs. Looking at some of these damage numbers, Falstad with the 90,000 hero damage. Those Hinterland's Blasts were huge. People say it's not as good as Gus, but if you can make it work, you can definitely make it work. And possibly the most telling bit of information on this whole screen is Murky Chaos Tank with the 27,000 XP exactly. And the 223,000 siege damage is also really significant, almost doubling what their Lunara was doing, the next closest member in the game. So, well played to both teams, GG, and good job making Murky work. And I will see you in the Nexus.